Welcome to another episode of Lifelong Learner. This is the Out of Class edition with Ben, Janesh, and Matt. Hope you enjoy.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Lifelong Learner. Yet again, Matt is away with his parole officer. He made us sign an NDA, so I can't disclose anything. Welcome, Benny. How you doing?
Mate, really good. Still on holiday.
So are you in Bali or in Thailand? Where are you?
We're in Bali this morning, Thailand this afternoon.
Lovely.
So it is good. It is good. This is 10th day in Bali. Mm-hmm. And you know how you do the weird... Did we talk about this last time?
About settling in. Yeah.
Forming.
Yeah.
So we feel like in that norming sort of maybe getting a little bit of performing action happening. Mm-hmm. Morning routine, I go and get my coffee. There's a lovely little girl, because you got to wear a T-shirt at breakfast, right?
You don't like that, do you?
But my routine is, I don't like that. My routine is I get up early, put my running shorts on, because I don't wear a T-shirt when I run, my runners, and then I zip to brekkie, get a coffee, then I come and sit here in this little pavilion that kind of overlooks the resort, do stuff, do my meditation, drink my coffee, and then I go for my run. So I don't wear a T-shirt to go and get my coffee, but I'm there right on 6 o'clock. So it's literally just open. No one's there. Still no one's there. No one will be there till about 6:30. So I normally just bustle in. Anyway, the head dude, Juno, who's awesome, I managed to sweet talk my way past Juno, right? And first time I snuck in. Second time he wasn't quite so happy. And I said, that's okay. I said, if you just want to get the coffee for me, that'd be great. So it's a long black. And I have...
You just made it super complicated,
2 shots. Soy milk, but it needs to be heated fairly hot. Like I like it actually quite hot. Don't fill the cup right up though. So it's got to be... And he said, you just go through. Anyway, so I got through Juno. Juno's now my friend.
Yeah.
But there's a new chick. This little tiny, beautiful little Balinese girl. Like there's no way she was letting me pass yesterday.
Yeah.
No way she was letting me pass without my shirt on. So she organised one of the team members to go and make my coffee. In fact, it was Juno that went and made my coffee.
That's funny.
And so anyway, that's my morning routine, mate. So I've just got my coffee because it's 6 a.m. here.
Yeah.
So into that beautiful routine. So loving it. You asked me earlier just before we came on though, how am I going? And I was sort of, there was a bit of a vacillation about the answer.
What's that about?
And do you know, I think what it is, because I'm about to go and do 3 weeks in Thailand. Another 3 weeks on holiday.
Mate, it's a tough chore, isn't it? Are you ready to come back? It sounds like by that statement, I felt like you're ready to come back.
I want to come back.
You're ready. You're energized.
I'm done with the holiday. It's like been amazing. 5 weeks travelling up to Australia, a week and a half in Bali. But I'm just, I think it's because I've got things to come home to. I've got, there's a bit going on to come home to. What's interesting though is because we were going to also be away all of October. Oh my God, I don't know what we were thinking, right? So 3 months away. When we come back, it'll be like, it'll be 9 weeks or something, 10 weeks away.
Yeah.
But we've rented our house out till the 1st of December.
Oh, really? I thought you
when we come back at the start of October.
So, mate, you were saying it's another bunch of 3 weeks of holidays, right? And you're ready to come back, and you were saying about your house. I was under the impression that you'd rented out your house till the first week till your birthday, and then you were always planning to come back to your birthday. So tell me what's really going on now.
Well, you thought wrong because we'd always rented it out till the end of November. We were going to come back at the end of October, and then we were going to have a month just to kind of find somewhere to live, and then we'd be right. But now we're coming back early. We've got to find 2 months. We've got to find somewhere to live. back at home. So anyway, mate,
And you just kind of want to be home, don't you?
and I want to be home now, which means if we came home now, we'd have to find somewhere for 3 months. Which anyway. So look, you know what? What an ungrateful bastard I am. So, you know, been away on holiday for 6.5 weeks, going to be another 3 weeks away. Suck it up, Benny.
Tough gig. Tough gig.
Tough gig. But anyway, mate, I'm looking forward to catching up with the great man tonight. Maybe not tonight, it'll be tomorrow. So he's flying. He's been in Vietnam for a week.
Nice.
Having just a blast.
Yeah.
Blast. You can imagine a big, tall, pale, like we're talking pale skin because he's a redhead. Redhead, and he's got a big head that looks like his head's on fire of hair. You know, looks like something. He looks like Kramer at the moment. His hair's gone mad. You know, Kramer out of Seinfeld.
Yeah.
A redhead version of Kramer. And imagine him wandering around Vietnam. I mean, so he's been having a blast.
That's awesome.
Some late nights and early mornings.
Yeah.
So we'll catch up with him in Bangkok, and we'll hang out together for a few days in Bangkok, and then we're all heading down to Phuket.
Oh, nice.
He's heading off to fight camp for a week.
Awesome.
And I was going to do fight camp, but
you're on holidays.
I don't know. I'm in a weird spot, man. I'm in a bit of a weird spot.
Talk to me. I can sense you're a little. I'm not sure if it's in a funk or in a like a transition period, mate. What is this?
I tell you what it is. I'm feeling it as having it's a good therapy session, man. I'll send you.
I'll send you the invoice.
send me the invoice. I've got a new project. I'm building a new practice in Rosebud, and I've been vacillating on signing the lease. It's just been a few little obstacles and bits and pieces. Anyway, today's the day, and I have got to sign that lease today. And it's just tricky when this whole project is based on a 30-minute video walkthrough I did of the property just a week before I left. And I'm a creator. So I'm a visual person as well. So I know if I was back in Rosebud, wandering through the building, the juices would be flowing. And I'd be feeling into it, and I'd be fueling the fire to build this Rosebud project. But there's just a little bit of me that's there's a tension there around it whilst I'm on holiday. Yeah. And the tension's kind of been building, I think, this week now we're in Bali. And I think the tension's at a peak because in 3 hours from now, I just got to get that lease on.
Yeah. Is there another? There's not another property that you're looking at, are you?
No. This is a great property, right? It's really good, and it's got lots of good potential.
What would change? If you were there, would it change you saying no to the lease?
It would. It wouldn't. If I was there, it definitely would make me say no. But it would add way more fuel to yes.
Then say yes. If it's not going to say no, then just say yes and work out the details when you come back.
Yeah, that is true. And, you know, it's $100,000 a year project, you know.
Well, get someone there.
If I don't make any money, then it's going to cost me $100,000 a year.
So
it's not just like a light decision.
Yeah. But can't you get someone there on FaceTime to go through it again?
Yeah, look, I've had one of my doctors do a run through yesterday.
Yeah.
So I haven't been able to speak to him this morning, but he was going to go and do a video run through, have a look at the place, and you know, my head's dropped. So yeah, look, that'll help, and look, it'll all be good. But I'm just feeling that tension. You know, I've read some cool stuff just recently, really, really cool stuff. I've got to say that book by Sam Harris, really interesting, I think it's called Waking Up, Finding Spirituality Without Religion. Really, really interesting. It's all about being in the present. And then yesterday, we went on a tour. Michelle organised a surprise tour. Now, I didn't know what it was. I didn't know where we were going,
Yeah.
except the next step, right? I'd say, okay, so where are we going now? And he would say, oh, we're going to the waterfalls.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know until the end that it was called the Instagram tour, right? It's a tour of all the places that you go in a G-string with your hair all done and your fancy outfits, and you take photos in front of buildings looking like a supermodel.
Yeah.
I got some good pics, by the way. Not
go.
in a G-string, but I did have my Speedos on. Anyway, we did the first one. It was called Heaven's Gate.
Yeah.
And it's literally these two kind of big sort of Balinese pillars, exactly like we've got in the hotel.
Yeah.
But in the distance is Mount Agung.
So you can see it in the foreground.
Yeah, yeah. So you meant to take a photo in front of it, standing in front of Heaven's Gate. But we got there. There was a 2-hour wait
For a photo?
to get a photo. A 2-hour wait, because everyone gets up and they've got, I don't know, 5 minutes in front, right? So you can imagine, like, you only need 30 people, and all of a sudden you got a 2-hour wait, right? So I went, and then we're Australian, mate, and we're not doing 2-hour waits. But there's people all dressed up and hair done and makeup waiting to get this photo.
Wow.
So the Instagram tour. So we did that, and then we did something else, and then we were talking to the driver, lovely guy, Asa, and we were chatting about his family. And we said, mate, can we go and meet your family? Can we, one of those ones.
Yeah.
So we went and met his family.
Nice.
His in-laws.
Yeah.
We had a quick look at their farm. They've got a rice farm, a few pigs and bits and pieces, and had a bit of a chat about all that. And then we met his family. So his mum, his mother-in-law, and his grandmother-in-law. Now, the grandmother comes out, one of those classic pictures, leathery, brown, skinny, old lady, teeth kind of everywhere, but so youthful.
That's cool.
And I said, so how old's Grandma? 81.
Wow.
She's 81. And she's just had a spunk and a real youthfulness to her. And she still works. She still gets out on the rice fields and still works every day. And she didn't speak any English. So I said to her, what's the secret? What's the secret to staying so young? And she said, enjoy your life. Enjoy your life.
That's cool.
That's cool. I said, so how do I do that? How do I enjoy my life?
Yeah. And
she said, in essence, she said, be grateful. That was the essence of what she said. But what she really said, one of the things she did say was be grateful for your body. Be grateful for who you are. Be grateful for your presence. And be grateful for the environment. And we were chatting with Asa afterwards, and he said, part of the Hindu religion is that you must live in harmony with your environment. He said, that's so key. You've got to live in harmony with your environment and with everyone else. And interestingly enough, mate, he said, I'm so aware of karma that I want to do the right thing by me and the right thing by everyone else. He said, you'll see Balinese smiling all the time, and they smile because they believe the more they smile, the more people will smile back at them, literally and figuratively speaking. So it's whatever you're putting out. And I don't know whether you've been to Bali and driven on the roads. I mean, I just still don't understand the road rules. It's just no one ever has a scowl.
Nah.
No one ever has a scowl.
Someone cuts off someone, gets really close. No one hoots the horn. No one yells at each other. Nothing.
But you know what? They don't even see that they were cut off.
Yeah, they don't.
So we use the language, we didn't get cross of getting cut off. They didn't get cut off.
No.
There is no cut. It's all just part of it, right? They never have a scowl. And he said, if I like someone, I'll like them. And if I don't like them, then it's not like I don't like them. I just don't have anything. There's no feeling there. Do you know what I mean?
Interesting.
Like it's either, hey, they're my really good friend, or there's nothing.
There's nothing.
There is no hate. There is no... Really interesting. And then I went and settled up next to the old lady because she was a little bit shy. And I was doing a Zoom, a FaceTime with Logan because he'd woken up and he'd FaceTime us as we were there. And I was showing her Logan, and we were right up close, and she was kind of looking and really interested in this red-haired boy. Anyway, we finished, and I looked down at my feet, and her foot was right next to mine. Her foot looked younger than my foot.
Wow.
I said, look at your feet, right? Now, this lady's had no pedicures, no manicures, no body treatments. No, I'm sure she doesn't put aloe vera on her feet or anything like that. And she had the most youthful feet, and they walk around everywhere barefooted. And, just amazing, right? The difference when you just live in harmony, and every day you just wake up and to enjoy your life.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I don't know how I got on that, but I think there's a little bit of, I'm also feeling just from that yesterday and just the general vibe, as you know, in Bali or when you go to Fiji, there's this, just be a bit softer, go with it a little bit. Don't push so hard. And yet there's this other part of me that's chewing at the bit to get back and to push hard and to build and grow. And where's the balance in that?
Yeah. But
do you find that when you go on these kind of holidays?
Yeah, it takes me a bit to switch off. Takes me a bit to wind down. But I'm actually.
But then what about the wind up? What about the tension once you are wound down, realizing that there is this beast that's waiting for you at home?
Yeah, you can't unleash it because you're just not, to use the word harmony, you're not in harmony anymore. It causes incongruence. It causes more angst because you can't. Well, for me, I feel like you can't actually make headway. So continue to use that energy to do what you can there, like be present, adventure, walks, run, whatever. But also use that energy to continue to dream. You don't have to continue to dream, right? We dream a bit in normal society and then we're busy and then we go do that dream or whatever. But continue to dream. Continue to create. Continue to draw on a piece of paper, right? Use that energy to create on a piece of paper because then you're building the anticipation, but knowing it's going to be balls to the wall soon. Because if you went now, in about 3 months' time, you're like, kind of wish I had another week in Thailand, right? You got to say that. You're going to go, I'll ask you when you're back in November, December, how's things going? You're like, busy, right? Because you'll have a lot on. And I think you enjoy that space and know that, and I think if you resist it, mate, the next 3 weeks are going to be hell. It'll be so much hell. Now that you're in this rhythm, but then I think just continue the dream. Continue the dream. And ask your questions I continue to ask, I think, all the what ifs, right? You can dream, you can ponder, you can draw on a piece of paper, and if you don't like that drawing, you can throw it out, right? Because when you're back, it will feel like you don't have time to draw on a piece of paper. You're going to get the time that you have in the next 3 weeks, you will have it, but you won't feel like you have it when you're back. So I would feel into that and know that when you come back, it's there. It's not going anywhere now. Like it's the project's not starting without you. Don't think your crew is going to go, we're going to start building, we're going to get contractors in. Like there's that feeling of like lost time. That's not necessarily going to happen. It's going to be there. It's going to be that empty canvas there when you come back. So nothing really changes. So, but if you go now, you lose. One, you got to find a place to live, but you also lose the 3 weeks that can be of bliss. But I think that's a choice. But it's that feeling of going when you're at the end of these 3 weeks, you'll be ready to go, ready to come home. And I think that feeling of ready to come home is a good feeling because then when you come back, I think people talk about holiday blues and all that. They go, oh, I just wish I was on holiday again. Last 2 trips, I haven't felt that. I've come back like rearing to go. And don't worry about the ramp up. The ramp up happens really quick. I would say the ramp up happens quicker than the ramp down.
Yeah, I reckon you're right too. Oh, well and truly.
I reckon it's like,
I think particularly when you've got that ready to come home feeling, it's like you're a horse in the stalls waiting for the starter to open the gates. I think, yeah. Whereas, again, it's a good analogy, I think, when you're at the racetrack and you see the horses, they're struggling to get into the gates.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of carry on to get them in.
Yeah.
And then they're busting to get out.
Yeah. But imagine, say you're struggling to get in, but you've got 3 weeks before that the gun's going to go. So why waste all your energy bustling to get in, and all the other horses are going to get tired? Just relax. And then 2 days before, you get that excitement or whatever. And I know it's easier said than done, but you're just wasting unnecessary energy on thought, thinking, and also Michelle will pick up on it, right? Because your head is not there, and then there's a subconscious resentment, and then you'll chat to Logan, and all you can talk about is Rosebud, and he's like, "Fuck that! Like, we're on holiday. That will be waiting for you," and it rubs off. You don't think it rubs off, but I know that because I've done it, and it's I've fucked it up. So it's rubbed off on everyone else, and everyone else is not as excited as me. Or I think there will be potentially when it's later, but at that moment they're like, we're not there yet.
It is all about the presence, that has been a constant theme of all the books that I've been reading. Is that there is only now, there is only this moment that I'm here with you right now, and it's just been so interesting to read and listen to so much stuff about that while I've been away on holiday, and just noticing yourself how hard it is sometimes to just be in the present. I'm often reading that book, which is the Waking Up book by Sam Harris, and it's all about being in the present. And I'll get halfway through a page I've just started, and all of a sudden there's a little voice that goes, "Just check your phone for that thing. I wonder whether there's and you go off and you quickly check your phone and then put it down, and then you come back and you start reading again, and you get through one more page, and all of a sudden your brain goes, no, just go and have a look around, see what else is happening around you. And there is only the present. So that's something that. So when you were saying about dreaming with pen and paper, I'm actually trying not to do that. Trying not to. I'll have the thought come into my head about, no, don't go there. Don't go there. Stay now. Stay in the now. Just seeing the sun, feeling the sun and the water. And
how's that going for you?
Challenging. It's challenging.
Yeah.
Really challenging.
Would it be easier to honor that feeling, write it down, and then let it go?
I do every morning. So my morning reflection and then meditation, of course. The meditation is about being in the present, and there's before meditation and then post meditation, the reflection on the kind of the meditation. And I don't judge the meditation anymore like I would have in the old days. Just accepting that, your mind will the consciousness will come up. Yeah. And so I just it's the awareness of it. I think there is Sam Harris talks about in his book, and I think he borrows it from some of the Buddhist work. The first thing is the awareness that you have a consciousness that is separate to you. That's just that awareness. Most people don't realize that there is a consciousness that is different to the mind. So anyway, it's been so much reflection and so much going on. It's been really great. Really, really good holiday, and I am actually looking forward to the next 3 weeks. We're trying. What I said to Michelle is, let's try not to get a hotel. Let's see if we can get a villa or something, and because that was the other thing that came up when I was chatting with Nan, the grandma yesterday, was it's such a hedonistic lifestyle, this lifestyle when you have a resort holiday. It's a lifestyle of consumption. Man, you should see the food that people eat at breakfast. Just plates and plates of food, and it's such a consumption lifestyle. This resort living. I said, Michelle, let's just try and find something simple for the next few weeks. So anyway, interesting journey. Will be another podcast anyway while we're away in Thailand.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
What about you, Em? What's been happening since you've been back?
I think getting into the definitely back into routine, which is good, which is great. I think it's now that the days here, well, back in Melbourne, the days are getting longer. Like the sun's up a little longer, the sun's up earlier, and really trying to like the work and stuff, the work, career, and other bits and pieces. That stuff's going great. Like that routine is super good. I think there's been a bit of a struggle trying to get the health routine back, or not even back. I think develop new habits around that has not as been, I think, not as, there's small, but I'm thinking in my head I want big changes, but there's already small changes, but it's not big changes, and I'm like, oh, come on, I just can do the big change instead and do that consistently, and that's not, and I know logically that doesn't make sense, right? So it causes me a bit of angst, which is interesting. Which is interesting.
What's the big change? What's the big change you'd like to make that you're not making?
I think more. I think conscious eating and conscious drinking, like consumption of alcohol. One, do you really want it, and one, do you need it? Right, and if it's both, yes, then honor that for sure, but not go, hey, this feels good, and then go. I think you told me this, asked me this question, like, what would you say? What would you say in the morning? Right? What would you say next morning? And if it is the early morning, next morning, or whatever, and you're a little bit rough, you're like, well, are you okay with that, or are you not okay with that? And if you are, okay, sure, have that drink. Eat not so great, but if you're not, then make that choice now, right? And it's not a zero, but just kind of just to reduce. Which is interesting. It's fascinating kind of coming off 2 holidays where you're eating whatever and drinking whatever, like a lot, like in the 4 weeks in the States and then a week in Bali, and then you come back and you go pretty much from 100 and you're like, oh, and I want like 0 for certain days, right? And eating super clean, and it's just and I need to know that, okay, maybe it goes to 75, then 50, then 25, then 0 on a few days. But my head logically says yes, but emotionally it's like, no, I want 0. And then when it's not 0, there's that internal frustration, which is interesting actually. So that's been going on.
Mate, can I share a learning that I had around that, having gone sober? And I did it overnight. It was literally that morning I woke up and went, no, I don't want to do this anymore. And it's not that I was an alcoholic, but there was definitely, that saying where something around like, are you controlling the alcohol, or is alcohol controlling you? And I think, certainly for me, and I think for many of us, there is this, it sort of almost becomes a little bit, the alcohol starts to control you. Like there's this part of you that says, and we live in such a mate. Once you become sober, not I'm suggesting you do that, but like you realise how pervasive it is. It's just like everywhere. It's everywhere. Yeah. Like you come to a hotel and you get a welcome drink.
Yeah.
Like it's just everywhere. So it's really interesting. For me, it was, and I think it's actually worked quite well. And they talk about it in in lots of programs around giving up alcohol is replace the alcohol with a non-alcoholic drink, because there's a ritual. There's a time-based tempo space ritual around drinking. So it's part of our timeline. And so for me, I'd come home and have a G and T, which is a non-alcoholic, like G and T, or a non-alcoholic beer.
Yeah.
And it was the ritual of pouring that drink, when I got home, because that was the ritual. When I'd get home after work, I'd pour a glass of wine. So that was the first replacement. And then on holiday, and this is what I wanted to share, we would always come away on holiday and we'd do happy hour, 4 o'clock. Yeah. You'd kind of finish up by the pool. You'd go back, have a shower, put on some clothes. You'd pour a drink and you'd sit for maybe an hour and a half and do happy hour before you went out for dinner. So we're away on holiday and it's happy hour. And we were doing that while we were away camping, trailering. And it was, it was sort of okay, but there was something just not quite right about it. And then once we hit Bali, which is like full on
happy hour,
that's just, it's happy hour time, right? I just was not really enjoying it. And I said to Michelle, I just got to be honest, like I'm over happy hour. I don't need the happy hour. That ritual of mine of having a drink of 4 eventually just broke. And I was having the disgusting tasting Balinese non-alcoholic beer, which is apple juice. Barley, by the way. Your bintang is apple juice.
Yeah.
And going, really? Like, I'm not enjoying this and I don't need it. And so, but Michelle was still enjoying happy hour. Now she's given up happy hour this last week because it was part of our connection. So this was the other insight that I had.
So what did you switch that out with?
That I was doing connection. Yeah. So this is interesting. And it came from something I read around, often we drink, there's 4 key reasons why we do drink. And one of them is for the experience of it, the release of it.
Yeah.
And that's classic for a hard charger, an extrovert. And I think that's where I was, and that's where it began for me. And of course, part of it is social, right? And so for me, catching up with Michelle at the end of our day, there was a real importance to that bonding at the end of the day and reflecting on our day and where we're going for dinner and all that kind of conversation. And that was part of why happy hour continued. And then I said, you know what, I'm just not enjoying it. And the realization was, if I just dropped it, I was also going to drop our connection time. So we had to find something else. And so what we did is we continue our day till 5.
Yeah, keep going. Yeah, interesting.
We just continue at night instead of 4. We continue till 5:30. Then we just go and get changed, have a shower, get changed, and then literally on the back of Gojek and heading out for dinner.
Yeah.
So and then we arrive at dinner and do our connection. So we've just pushed out that connection. We've just removed that part.
Yep.
Which was no longer enjoyable for me. So I just wonder for you, that first step of continuing everything except that the drink has alcohol in it. Do everything the same. Because there's such a power to all that other stuff apart from just the OH that's in the drink.
Yeah, definitely.
There's an addiction to that almost. Yeah.
I think when you said the happy hour, it's like, usually sometimes you go to dinner with friends or you go to someone's house and you have a drinks beforehand. Like, you usually have drinks before at someone's house and then you go to dinner, or you go to a bar before and then you go to dinner, right? More than, for me now, like I think about it, more than the actual alcohol, it's in that informal chitter-chatter, banter is kind of where it's at when you talked about happy hour. I was like, you can probably meet, but it's so common in today's society, like, hey, let's meet for a drink beforehand. But it's like let's just meet, let's meet beforehand and have a game of pool instead, or do something before, and still that same informality of that connection is still there. And then let's go to dinner, right? Which is interesting, but we don't necessarily. It's not opt out; it's like opt in, right? Instead of opting out on that pre-drink, it's opt in to something else. And I think it's people don't look at it that way. I think because it's convenient, it's all that's known, but it's really.
And you know what?
I go on.
The other thing is, we often do that too, and there's the loosening up. Like you want that conversation to flow. So, you have a drink or two, during that kind of happy hour period, and it just loosens everything up, right? So far for me, my truth is, I can't be as loose without the alcohol. Like people talk about, you give it up, and you just have a great time. You have a great time, but you don't drink. No. I can't be.
Hold on, I just lost you then. No, I lost you there for a second, Ben. Say that again.
Yeah,
I just lost you. You said I can't be, and then I lost it.
I can't be the. Currently, my truth is, I can't be the 2 drinks in, Penny, without the 2 drinks. I'm so far I'm not able to produce the chemistry to bring that looseness.
So
without the 2 drinks.
Question for you: do you need to be the loose, or do you want to be the loose?
Yeah. Again, my truth is, at the moment, I miss it. I miss that.
Yeah.
That little bit silly. Like I'm not talking silly. Yeah. I'm just saying, I'm just a little more chatty.
Yeah. Have you had someone since you're sober you know how sometimes if someone else is there, right? It's like osmosis. It's quicker to get there, right? Have you had someone in like your dinners or wherever be that? Someone that you know, right? Not just a random like tipsy person. Like be that loose. So, and then you go, I can actually get to that quicker now and I don't need it because you're usually the instigator of that and people follow. Has there been someone in your circle or in around be the instigator that you're like, oh yeah, it's easier to jump, right, from where you are to that because someone's already at that like that state or that energy level or whatever, as opposed to being the instigator? Because being the instigator, I get it. It is harder and it's fun.
The first thing that comes to mind is I feel more contrast rather than them leading it. I feel there's more contrast between them and I. I feel there's a distance. Basically, I heard Jordan Peterson talking about this, and he said alcohol is an anxiety remover, and anxiety and fear and all that sort of tension comes up. It's just ego. It's the voice inside our head. Well, alcohol removes that. It removes that. It shifts the ego away, and so. Mate, to be honest, I miss that a little bit. And there was a moment where I had a conversation with Michelle, and this is what led to the happy hour shift. I was having a conversation. Well, do I have a rule just about drinking when we're on holiday? Like, and I sort of really felt into that. And then the truth was, that would be just that would be doing everything against the reason why I'm not drinking. Like, it goes against every truth that I currently hold, which is I can be a awesome version of myself without alcohol. So why am I contemplating the thought that I need alcohol when I'm on holiday? So, but there's just that loose version that's missing, and I just got to find it.
I was going to say, find another way to access that, right?
30 years, I've been drinking alcohol. 30 years. It's been part of my ritual.
Yeah.
And again, I don't drink a lot, but it's just been something that I've been consuming for 30 years. And Michelle and I, us doing our happy hour has been part of our relationship for probably 20 plus years. It's like I said to Michelle, in more recent years, probably a couple of years ago, Michelle said, I don't want to do morning, I don't want to do tea. Now, Michelle and I have done tea from before we were married in the morning. Wow. It was a ritual. I'd go out, I'd make the tea, I'd bring it back to bed, and we'd sit up in bed together and have a cup of tea. And we'd chat about the day that's coming. Now, that was, of course, when we were both working together, starting our mornings, being at the office by 8 o'clock. We both needed to wake up early, and we'd have a cup of tea and chat about the day and wake up and then have a shower and get on to work. And then, of course, there was kids into our world. And so you'd still need to wake up early, and we'd get up early and have a cup of tea and sit in bed and connect before the kids got up. Now, Michelle's not working in the office and the kids they're doing their own thing. They're grown up. There's no need for her to wake up. There's no need for us to push that connection first thing in the morning. And so 2 years ago, she came to me and said, I don't want to do tea anymore.
Yeah.
And I was devastated. I was really devastated. But that's the time when we connect. That's our morning connection. Like, we've got to keep that going.
Yeah.
And it was like, and so this week I've kind of having the chat about and thinking about the happy hour. I went, wow, this is exactly the same as the morning tea.
Yeah, 100%.
It's exactly the same. And mind you, when she told me, I went, yeah. And the next morning, bought her in a cup of tea. and I kept pushing, and I kept pushing, and I kept pushing, and I kept getting pushback.
Yeah. Until
one day I just went,
okay,
I'm going to do my own thing.
Yeah.
I'll go and do my own thing first thing early in the morning. And so, I guess I've been pushing this kind of happy hour when it went beyond a requirement, part of my weaning. And so I think me finding who I am without alcohol, being that version of me that can be more relaxed, produce the chemistry that I need, that I want to produce when I want to be social. It's just something I've got to find it. I don't know what I am. I'm think I'm 5 months sober. So it's early yet. Maybe that'll come after a year.
Yeah.
I'll find that chemistry that I can produce without the alcohol.
Yeah. And it's probably just experimenting, right, on other things, what works, what's a trigger to kind of get you into that state. Yeah. Like what?
So for you, mate, what's the take home out of that for you? With what would be the next step for you with either food or alcohol?
I would say to replace it with something, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to completely zero, replace it with something. And I think continue to ask those questions. In the moment, it's great, yeah, but what's tomorrow? Tomorrow you're going to go, hey, no, right? Yeah. And it's been interesting because this, last week, so there's a local brewery that we're really good friends with, the owners and all that. They've just moved locations and we gave them a hand moving and all that. And it's an opening weekend, right? Last weekend for them. So we're at the soft opening, we're at the opening night, we're at the live music, and I'm still okay with all that, but that I would like to make it clear, for me, a boundary on that doesn't filter into the week. All right? Like, yeah. Because there's no need for it to filter in the week. It's a ritual, but there's no benefit. There's no social interaction. There's like, yeah, it doesn't need to, right? But I think it is that, as you said, like replacing it with something. And then I think asking yourself the question, like, if it is, what is the drink serving the purpose of, say, during the week? Or what is this piece of junk food serving the purpose of, right? Is it an instantaneous craving, or is it a sugar craving? Is it a salt craving? Like, what is it? Like, can you opt for something else at the moment? And yeah, what is it? What is it?
I would say there's a real Pavlov's dog with drinking. You ring the bell and the dog salivates. You pour the drink, and it's the pouring of the drink, the glass that you drink it out of, because you drink your alcohol out of a different glass than you drink your water. It's the social interaction. It's sitting at the kitchen bench, which is where you always have your drink after work. It's all of that. That's all of the ringing of the bell that causes you then to relax at the end of the day. Relax into your relationship, relax into just, a relax, whatever it is. And so if you kept everything else the same, but took the OH out, the alcohol out, in my experience, you get the same reaction. Yeah. You get not the full the OH chemistry reaction like I talked about, but you get everything else. And so definitely worth trying on. Don't change anything except the drink hasn't got OH in it. Do everything the same. So I would still, when I had my G and T's, I would still get my G&T, crystal G&T glass. I'd still put the ice in. I'd still put the little squeeze of lime. I'd still, I'd put the fake G&T in. I'd still sit up at a kitchen bench and I would still sip it like you sip alcohol, right? Yeah. I wouldn't just glug it down. I'd just still sip it. Everything was exactly the same, except the drink didn't have, and it tasted pretty much the same. And yeah, so a free shout out to one of our sponsors to be Craft Zero. Mate, jump on Craft Zero and get one of their dozen beer selections. There is some really good zero beer. There is some really good. I'm not a beer drinker.
Yeah, I was going to say, you weren't, when you did drink, you never drank a lot of beer, did you?
I didn't drink beer at all, really. But it has a refreshingness, and it's one of the few non-alcoholic drinks that actually has a refreshingness to it and tastes kind of like an alcoholic drink.
Yeah.
It's quite amazing. So the Craft Zero, there's some terrible ones out there. Bintang, by the way, your beer is apple juice. But it's worth, because again, that's part of there's a taste. Like there's a taste. That's the ringing of the bell. The Pavlov's dog. Ringing of the bell is that taste as well. Yeah. There's so many triggers that just fire off, and it drops you into that state.
Yeah.
But as I said, over time, that's become an unnecessary thing for me. I don't need those triggers. So, good luck with that.
Yeah.
But the key, of course, as you know, is set yourself up for success. So today, go shopping and get that, whatever that drink is that you can have and that doesn't have alcohol in it.
Yeah. I think it's the, I think that, as you said, success in setting up and preparation, right? So if if the fridge is full of great food and options of non-alcoholic stuff that you actually enjoy, right? Then it's like, it's there. It's like the path of least resistance. It's not like, there's I'm gonna do I cook this 40-minute meal that's gonna be wholesome, great, or do I? And again, don't get me wrong, dumplings are still healthy-ish, right? But you go, do I steam these dumplings for 10 minutes, right? The path of least resistance there, and you go, I think, as you said, setting yourself up. So I think in the last episode we talked about we make a lot of decisions in a day, right? So if you pre-make that decision, so in the moment there is no decision, there is no choice, there's no I know I do it with clothes or something the day before. So the next morning I'm not like, what am I wearing? What's this? Do I need to iron this? Is this clean? It's done. But it's curious now. I'm just thinking out loud, going making that decision, doing the pre-decision. So in the moment, there's no food decision, there's no alcohol decision for certain things, right? Don't get me wrong. There's still times where you want that spontaneity and you want that. I don't want to choose beforehand, which is great. But on certain things you want to create as a habit, you just go, there's no choice here. This is it. This is it. It's like kind of when you go out somewhere and you leave a card at home and you only take X amount of dollars. You're like, that's all I can spend. Right? There's no other choice. I can't take this out. Or if you go to play, I don't play a lot of it, but sometimes I'm more than happy to have a punt and have a gamble at the casino. But I take like X amount out, and I usually try to if I'm there with friends, I give my wallet to someone. I go, all right, it's $100, $200. That's it. Whatever. If I lose it, I lose it. If I win, I win. That's it. And it's just like a clear. There's no choice. There's no choice to go. Oh, I lost it. I'm going to get more. It's there's already a choice. There is no choice. But so, mate, in wrap up, what would be your takeaway for the conversation? We talked a lot about presence and thinking about the future and thinking about the now, enjoying the now, ramping up, the go to the downtime, to signing leases, to rituals, to connection, to opting in and replacing as opposed to going to zero. What's your takeaway?
I think the takeaway is something we sort of haven't talked about, but to kind of bring it all together with this, I was chatting with some Balinese the other day. I stopped and I brought a bottle of water, and actually, no, it was a coffee. And I was sitting with them just on the streets, and young boys, not great English, and we were chatting away. And I said to the guys, do you? I noticed that part of Bali's been sort of closed down, lots of shops shut, but there's no vandalism, nothing's been sprayed, no windows broken. I said, what's the go? In Australia, if that happened, there'd be people that'd start to knock things around, right? He said, oh no. They said no, we that's just not part of our culture. That's just not what we do. Karma. And I said, but what about drinking? You guys, have a few drinks. They said, no, we just don't. I said, why is that? And he said, because we've got to work the next day. If we drink, drinking costs us time.
The next day, interesting.
It costs. It costs, and we don't have that. And so there's a cultural component to when you look at Bali. There's apart from the Western stuff that we bring in over at Kuta, there's no drugs, there's no alcohol, there's no vandalism. There's a real culture to the way they live here in Bali. And there's a culture to the way we live in Australia, which is a drinking culture. Yeah. Which is a culture that you toot your horn not to warn out the person, hey, I'm coming and I want to look after you. It's you toot your horn because you're pissed off that they cut you off.
Yeah.
There's this cultural difference. And there's no right or wrong. It's just that we live in a certain truth. And I wonder whether there's another way. I wonder whether the way that we've been brought up is just a version of what could be. And I wonder whether there's a different version. So for us all to take our truths with a grain of salt. And I wonder whether there's another version of the truth around how we need to live and how we need to behave and how our society needs to run. That's my take home. What about you, Mo?
That's cool. Mine's a bit of a. It's hypocritical and an oxymoron. I think now I think about it in my head. I think that enjoy the now, right? Like it's enjoy what you have now, and like tomorrow will come if you like it or not, right? It's coming, right? So no point putting your energy on that because it's a cost. You think you're putting energy into that because you're excited, but it's costing you or other people today. It's costing you now and all other people around you by you putting your energy in now. At the same time, ask yourself, what you're doing today, will you be happy with yourself tomorrow? Right? So eating, drinking, smiling at the other people, being nice, being polite, or not, right? Go, will you be happy with yourself tomorrow? Right? As a lens of living the present, right? It's kind of that oxymoron. Yes, you're thinking about tomorrow, but it's like live the present with that lens, and it'll be interesting, I think. That's probably what I will personally kind of try on the next week or two, living the now with that lens.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good, mate. Really good.
Yeah.
Good conversation today.
Yeah, great conversation.
Really, really good.
Yeah.
Always great to connect. I really look forward to our podcast and the catch up. So thank you, mate. And listeners, thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, till next time. And mate, next time you'll be in Thailand.
I'll be in Thailand.
Yeah.
In the moment.
So
Present.
good. So good. See you, everyone.
See you, mate.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Lifelong Learner. If you like this episode and want to know more and hear other episodes, head over to lifelonglearnerpodcast.com, where you can subscribe to our newsletter, where you'll be the first to know when new podcast episodes come out. And if you want to say hello, tell us a joke, or ask us a question, send us an email at hello@lifelonglearnerpodcast.com. Thanks again.